Hi, my name is Norman Collins, and this is the first of a series of videos that I'm going to do about chords and chord symbols. So, a lot of guitar players really only know very few chords, and there's a lot of misunderstanding really about what these symbols stand for and what the numbers mean. And so I'm going to be trying to walk you through this. It's a big subject. I'm going to be talking today about major sevenths. What are major sevenths? So the first thing to understand is that when you see chord symbols like C, G, A, D, all those capital letters mean major chords. It doesn't say major, but it means a major chord. When you see the abbreviation MAJ, or sometimes a capital M, and the number 7 after it, it means a C major chord, but the major is taken for granted and not said. And the word major, or the abbreviation MAJ, is referring solely to the number 7. C major 7, D major 7, G major 7, etc. So what are we doing here? What's happening with this? So you've got your basic chord like C. Basic C chord, and it's actually only 3 notes there, 3 different notes. You might be playing 6 strings, but you're only actually playing 3 different notes. You're playing a C, an E, and a G. Now, if you know a little bit about music theory, and you may not, but if you do, you will know that in the scale of C major, like on the piano, that's just the white notes starting on C. You've got the notes C, D, E, F, G, A, and B. So B is the 7th note in the major scale of C. So one way of understanding this is to say that the major 7th is simply the 7th note in the scale of C major added to the ordinary chord. Now this doesn't mean necessarily that you have to put more fingers on. In fact, in the case of C, of a simple C chord, it means taking a finger off. So there's our C chord. We've got a C, E, G, and a C, and another E. So if I take this as C here, just concentrate on my fingers here. If I take that C off, I'm adding the note B to the chord. Okay. So there's a C major chord. It's actually easier to play, of course, than the ordinary C chord. So I've just taken the C chord, I've found the note C, and I'm taking it off, down 1 fret, down 1 semitone. Now the C chord has a B added to it. C major 7. Okay. Now, of course, there are other ways of playing C major 7. Here's another one. Here's another one. Here's another one. One of the things to understand about chord symbols is that it doesn't really tell you that much. It's just that if it says C, it just means a C kind of a thing. It doesn't mean play the note C, E, G over and over again, which is what a lot of guitar players do. They think that to play the C chord, it means to play it over and over and over again. It means to play a C kind of a thing. So sometimes you might want to play the 3 notes, sometimes you might want to play 2 notes of a C chord, or even 1 note, and still convey that sense of the C-ness, really, of the chord that's accompanying whatever's going on. So let's check another one, F. So just an easy F shape, 4-string F. So again, we relate it to the major scale of F, and we say, well, if we want to do F major 7, what's that note going to be? What's that major 7th in F? So we say, okay, F is 1, and then we count up. Now, even if you don't know the scale of F, you're still going to get the right answer just by counting up. So F, G, A, B, C, D, and E. If scale has B flat in it, of course. So the note E is the 7th, is the major 7th in F. So if I've got an F chord, there's my F on top, and these numbers are generally added on top. They don't have to be, but they often are, and they sound more consonant if the notes are on the top of the chord. So there's my F, and then I just raise my first finger there so that the E string is open, and now I've got an F major 7. Again, it's easier to play actually than the F, because you don't have to press that down. So, if I play the two chords, C major 7 and F major 7, one after another. Two nice chords to mess about with, C major 7 and F major 7. Okay, so let's apply the same principle to the chord of D. So there's a D chord, ordinary shape that everyone plays. And so the first question is, what are the notes that we're playing? So there's a D, there's an A, there's another D, there's an F sharp. So we've got D twice. D, A, D, F sharp. So there's a D. If I take that back one semitone, again, if we wanted to count up, we're going to get C, but this time it's a C sharp. Just as I'll explain that at another time. I'm just taking, I'm going to the root note of the chord, D. I'm taking it back a semitone, just back one fret, and there I have it. So there's my D, A, this time C sharp, and an F sharp. G chord, ordinary G chord. Oh. Ordinary G chord with a G on top. I'll take that G down the semitone, down the fret, play that instead. We have a G major 7, so we've got D major 7. Again, two nice chords to mess about with, easy to play. So there's a few more easy ones we can do. A, there's an easy A chord. Now I'm doing the fingering this way with the first finger in the middle of the three, rather than a lot of people do that. I quite like to, first finger in the middle. If fingers aren't too big. So again, what notes have I got here? I've got an A, an E, A, C sharp, find myself an A, there's a spare A, so I'll take it back a semitone or one fret, and so there's my A major 7. So again we can do A major 7 and D major 7, there's a nice pairing, same relationship as the other chords we've been doing. A major 7, D major 7. So, just to recap, when you have chord symbols, just C, G, A, whatever, that means major chord. It doesn't say major, but it means major chord. When you see the abbreviation MAJ, very often followed by a 7, the word major always refers to the 7th. Always refers to the 7th. Okay? And we get the 7th note by finding the root note of the chord, C for C, F for F, G for G, whatever, and taking it back one semitone or one fret. So again, so we've got C, taking the C off to reveal a B. C major 7, F on the top, taking it off to reveal an E, F major 7. And D again, so there's my D chord, places we can play these chords. And in my next video on this subject, I'll talk a little bit about how to improvise against major 7 chords using pentatonics, so that if you've got somebody else that can play guitar, and there's 2 of you, somebody can improvise using pentatonics and the other person can play the chords for. Quite a lot of fun. So thanks for watching, and please check out my website, westcorkguitarpublications.net. Thanks. Bye for now.